Before Rome fell, our people from the north were on the move. The Goths from their homelands in what is now southern Scandinavia and the Baltic coast. They migrated south, seeking new lands and opportunities. By the 2nd century CE, the Goths had split into two main groups, the Visigoths or Western Goths and the Ostrogoths or Eastern Goths. Each would take a very different path in history. The Goths' first major encounters with Rome began in the 3rd century, raiding Roman territories across the Danube. They tested the empire's borders, but these interactions were not just about war, they also led to trade, alliances and cultural exchange. In fact, the Romans had so many dealings with the Goths that they often employed them as mercenaries. This mixing of cultures would have a lasting impact on both sides. The Visigoths, in particular, would play a key role in Rome's later struggles. Under the leadership of King Alaric I, they grew from a collection of tribes into a formidable force, but it was their next leader who would make their name a household word in infamy. Enter Flavius Magnus Maximus. When the Western Roman Emperor Julian died in 363, the ambitious general proclaimed himself emperor over the Gauls. He needed allies to secure his rule, and so turned to the Visigoths, inviting them into Roman territory. There, according to the historian Ammianus Marcellinus, the Visigoths sacked the city of Orleans, though Arius eventually defeated Maximus and took the Gothic throne for himself. This event marked a turning point in the history of the Western Empire. For the first time in 250 years, a Germanic tribe had entered Roman territory and tasted victory. Just a few decades later, the Visigoths would make their presence felt again, this time under the reign of King Valens. In 378, the two armies met at the Battle of Adrianople. What followed was a resounding Gothic victory in a defeat so humiliating for the Romans that Emperor Valens supposedly fled the battlefield on horseback, only to perish when his horse fell. To add insult to injury, the Goths pillaged the riches of the city of Hadrian's Point, earning themselves the nickname the Unbridled. In reality, though, the battle had far greater consequences than a Roman emperor losing his crown jewels. The Battle of Adrianople proved once and for all that Rome was no longer untouchable. And just a few decades later, they would do something no army had done in 800 years. So join us next time for part 2 of the Goths vs Rome, where we find out if Rome can stop the Gothic advance or if the sack of Rome is inevitable. All that and more on our channel.